Hello friends, I am P.SUJATHA, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Economics, A.D.M.COLLEGE for Women, Nagapattinam. Now, we will see the topic selection strategies. First, we will explain about what is human resource acquisition. Human resource acquisition, also known as talent acquisition. It refers to the process of identifying, attracting and hiring qualified candidates to fill job vacancies within an organization. It is a critical aspect of human resource management that aims to ensure the organization has the right talent in place to achieve its goals and objectives. Human resource acquisition encompasses various strategies, methods, and practices designed to effectively recruit and new employees. So, first explain about what is selection and next what are the different stages of selection strategies. Definition of selection. According to Yoder, selection is a process in which candidates for employment are divided into two classes. Those who are to be offered employment and those who are not to be. What is the process of selection? The process of selection, it involves various stages. For the job, it involves the following stages. First one is receiving application forms. Second one is scrutiny the applications. And the third one is preliminary interview. Fourth one is test, to conduct various different types of tests and checking references. Next one is the final interview, medical examination, proposition and appointment and confirmation of services. First I explain about what is a receiving application form. So it is a first step in the selection of candidates is to receive application forms from all eligible candidates. The candidates may be asked to submit their application together with their biodata on the plain papers. Sometimes the organization itself may take available printed applications. These applications may be given either free of cost or for a fee by an applicant. The printed application contain the details decided by the employers from the candidate with sufficient space for the candidate to furnish the particulars. These applications are known as application blanks. After obtaining the application, the candidate has to fill up carefully all the particulars and forward it to the employers on or before the stipulated date. Next step is scrutiny. Once the applications has been received from the eligible candidates, the next step is scrutinize. To scrutinize the application means to check all the particulars given by the candidate to ensure that they are correct. Those applications that are incomplete will not be considered if from the application the employee comes to know that the candidate does not fill up the eligible criteria. So he may set a site such as application whether or not a candidate fulfill the eligibility criteria for the job can be ensured by checking the following particulars in the application. They are the age of the candidate, sex, the community to which he belongs, education qualification, experience. Scrutiny of application thus helps to eliminate those applications whose applications are incomplete and who do not fill the eligibility norms. And next one, third step is preliminary interview. So all those applicants whose application have been considered by the employees may be called for the preliminary interview. The object of the preliminary interviews is to see the candidate personally to ensure whether he is physically or mentally suitable for the job. During the preliminary interview, the employees may ask the candidate certain basic questions about his education qualification, previous work experience, areas of interest, like that. Then it gives the employers opportunity to talk to the candidate directly and judge his ability to put forth his ideas. The candidates who are found to be unsuitable by the employees may not be considered for the appointment. Such of these candidates who are successful in the preliminary interview may be called for certain test. To conduct different types of tests, it is a sample measurement of a candidate's ability and interest for the job. So different types of tests are usually conducted for the purpose. There are aptitude test, intelligence test, proficiency test, interest test, and last one is a personality test. So one by one I explain about what are the different types of tests. First one is aptitude test. An aptitude test is conducted to know whether the candidate has the potentials and to learn the skill necessary to the work to be assigned to him. A candidate who is going to be employed as a salesman cannot judged by his academic achievements. So his potential will be judged by his ability to communicate effectively and answer questions. The next one test is intelligence test. The object of conducting intelligence test is to test the mental capacity of the candidate. A person intelligence is measured by what is called as IQ. So intelligent quotients, the IQ of the person is judged by his ability to answer a certain number of questions within given time. Next one is the proficiency test. The proficiency test is conducted to measure a personal skill to do his job. For certain jobs, the skill of the individual is more important than his IQ or aptitude. A type is performance. For example, will be judged by his and her ability to type with maximum speed and without committing any type of mistakes. Next one test is a interest test. The purpose of interest test is to measure a candidate interest in a particular type of work. For example, it may be office work. It consists of maintaining of records and files, receiving and sending mails, managing cash. So like that. If the candidate shows preferences for record management, he can be considered for such a job. The interest test enables the employee to assign the job for which the candidate has greater interest so that he can derive maximum job satisfaction. So last one is the personality test. It is nothing but it helps to judge the personal traits of the candidate. So it brings out such qualities of an individual as its courage, values, initiative, curiosity, temperament, judgment, likes and dislikes. So it's a personality test is necessary. It's to select the exclusive for an organization. So to conduct the above 6 types of tests, the following are the essential for the good test. So these are the various characteristics to be maintained. First one is the test should be held to measure what it is intended to measure. The test should not produce different results each time it is conducted. Next, third one is the method of conducting the test and measuring performance should be standardized one. The test should be in turn with the competence level of the candidate to whom it is to be given. So next step is interview. So after to conduct the test, next to conduct the interview. So the interview is a face-to-face oral examination of the candidate by employees. So interview may be held in two stages. One is the preliminary stage and another one is a final stage. So the need of the preliminary interview has been explained already. The final interviews enable the employees to examine the candidate thoroughly. It must be remembered that candidate to reach the final interview level must have proved himself in the earlier stages. So what are the different types of interview? After the preliminary interview and then test, you conduct the next direct interview. It may be a different types of interviews. One is structured interview, unstructured interview, depth interview, stress interview, board interview, and last one is a group interview. So what is a structured interview? So you know that is a interview means structured. It has a list of questions with answer prepared well in advance. So it is a structured interview. The candidate interviewed are asked question only from the prepared list. The mark may be awarded to the candidate based on the answer they give, and thereby their suitability for the job may be assessed. Next one interview, unstructured interview. So in this case of interviewer does not keep any list of questions. He can ask any question that he thinks it's relevant and see how the interviewer responds. Sometimes the interviewer may ask the candidate to express his views on the job. He has why he applied for the job. He did earlier. The job organization is served earlier. The present organization and so on. So the interviewer in this kind of his interview is a patient listener. He does not interrupt the interviewer, nor does he give his opinion and what is stated. So it is called as a unstructured interview. Third one is the depth interview. The depth interview, it is very important because it is attempted to know in depth knowledge of the candidate in his chosen field of activities, because these types of interview is necessary whether the candidate are expected to be experts in performing the job to be assigned to them. For example, a person who is going to be appointed in the office manager must be well versed in all aspects of office work. Similarly, a person who is going to be employed as a labor welfare officer must be sound in labor law, human relations, and so on. So this is a depth interview. Fourth one is a stress interview. So it is very necessary for nowadays to give more importance to the stress. So these kinds of interviews necessary to select candidate for jobs that require a tremendous amount of patience, the capability to overcome a resistance or protects the mental courage to overcome the stress and strain. The candidates who are interviewed for such job as those of sales representative, receptionist or public relation officers, so need to be subjected to a stress interview. So in this stress interview, the interviewer may react sharply to the view of the candidates, criticize him or even try to provoke him. This he does deliberately to see whether the candidate express patience and is able to overcome the resistance or protest. So if the candidate fails to perform to the expected level, he may not be considered for the post. So it's very, very important for the candidate to attend these type of stress interview very carefully. Next one is board or panel interviews. In this kind of an interview, the candidate is interviewed simultaneously by the panel of experts. Such an interview is necessary where the employees desire that assessment of the candidate by a group or team of experts is required. Each member of the board or panel may ask questions from the certain specific area. One interviewer may ask questions pertaining to the candidate's field of work, another person's regarding his interest. So, ask different types of areas. So, the selection of candidates will depend on the assessment of all the board of members. So, the interviewer give more importance to this type of interviews. Next. As the next one is the group interviews. In this case of group of candidates will be interviewed simultaneously. Such an approach is normally used for the selection of management trainees. A practical problem is given to them and each one is asked to discuss it to find the solution. The performance of each individual in the group discussion will decide whether he will selected or not. So, the candidates to give more importance to this type of group interview. So, and completion of the interview process, the employees will have a list of provisional selected candidates. So, the final selection is done only after the checking references and subjecting the candidates to the medical examination. So, after you conduct different types of tests and different types of interview, and next one is another part. So, it is checking reference. So, what is checking reference? The candidate would have already been required to maintain in his application the name and the address for the few person known to him. So, on this at this stage, the employees may contact such a person and get information regarding the conduct characteristics of the candidates. So, the employees, the candidate also to give related references very carefully. Next one is the medical examinations. It is also very important that selection for the job must also be medically fit to perform it. So, the candidate therefore will be asked to undergo the medical examination to prove his and her physical fitness. A report of his and her eyesight, height, weight and a certificate and his physical fitness from the doctor may have to be submitted to the employers. So, after completed all these stages, next you get appointment. So, if the employee is satisfied with the medical report of the candidate, he may appoint to him in his concern. The candidate is then given the appointment order. The appointment order states the date of appointment, the nature of job, the salary and other allowances payable, the period of proportions, etc. And receiving the appointment order, the candidate has to report for our duty. Proportion, it is a initial testing period for the candidate during which his performance will be watched. So, the period of proportion may vary from organization to organization. For example, if certain organization it may be 6 months, while others it may be extend up to 2 years. Next, after all the process you completed, then you get the confirmation of service. Only and successful completion of the profession, the candidate appointed will be confirmed. It will only after getting the confirmation order, the candidate become eligible to contribute and to provident fund and other such schemes. So, what are the different, after you selecting stage, what are the different problems and strategies are involved in selection strategies, In human resource acquisition can encounter several problems and challenges that organization need to address. What are the different types of problems? Bias and discriminations. So once one of the primary challenges in the selection process is the presence of bias and discriminations. This can occur at various stages, including it may be resume screening, interviews, and decision makings, and so on. So the bias can be based on the factors such as race, gender, age, ethnicity, or even the personal performances, leading to unfair treatment of candidates. So, and compromising the versatility and inclusivity of the workforce. Next one is subjectivity in decision making. The human judgment is prone to subjectivity, which can affect the decision making during the selection process. Interviewer and hiring managers may relying on hurt feelings or personal biases rather than subjective criteria. So the resulting in the selection of candidate who may not be best fit for the role. Third one is skill mismatch. As it is another common problem is a mismatch between the skill possessed by the candidate and the skill required for the job. So this can occur due to inaccurate job description, outdated job requirement, or insufficient assessment method. So the hiring candidates with inadequate skills can lead to poor job performance and increased training costs and so on. So next one problem is a limited talent pool. In certain industries or for specialized role, the organization may face challenges in attracting a diverse and qualified talent pool. This limitation can result in prolonged recruitment cycles, increasing competition for top talents, and difficulties in filling critical positions within the organization. Next, ineffective assessment method. So using inefficient or outdated assessment method can be also be a problem. For example, relying only on interview without practical skill assessment or may not provide a comprehensive understanding for the candidate ability and suitability for the role. Last one is the candidate experience. The candidate experience is also play a critical role in the success of selection process. Problems such as poor communication, a lengthy requirement process, a lack of feedbacks, or unprofessional behavior can result in the negative candidate experience. So it's damaging the employer brand and lead to the loss of potential talents. So last one is the legal compliances. Failure to comply with the legal requirement and regulation can pose significant risk to organization. This includes issues related to discrimination, equal employment opportunity, data privacy, background checks, and other legal aspect of the selection process. So non-compliance can result in legal liabilities and damage to the organization reputations. Must high turnover rates. If organization do not effectively match candidate to role or provide adequate support and development opportunity, so it can lead to high turnover rate. So the high turnover not only impact of productivity and morals, but also increase the requirement and training cost for replacing employees. Cost, next one problem, cost and resource allocation. The selection process can be resource intensive in terms of time, effort, and financial resources. It's a problem such as insufficient requirement method, excessive administrative tasks, or over reliances on external requirement agency. So it can lead to higher cost and inefficient resource allocations. Thank you.